Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we are looking at a thumbnail sketch. So if you know me and you know my channel by now, I focus on thumbnail sketching so that it sets the foundation for your concepting, whether it's for video games, film, your own personal projects, or just to be a better artist in general. And I want to show you, again, how to form these little critters, because I specialize in creature design, how to form these critters without overthinking anatomy and obsessing about details and worrying too much about being perfect. Yes, it's easier said than done, but I'm going to show you some really easy techniques so that you're not overthinking every single little mark. Now, first things first, go grab your favorite drawing tool and then open your sketchbooks up and start doodling with me. Now, these particular thumbnails today, they're going to be slightly more detailed than normal. I noticed that depending on the lighting that I have in my videos, sometimes the details don't show up. So I have a much brighter light shining on it right now, and hopefully you'll be able to pick these up. I am using a Bic ballpoint pen and I'm sketching on moleskin paper. It does not matter what you're sketching on as long as the paper is not too toothy. If it's too rough in texture and you want to end up shading some of these, the shading is going to look really bad because the graphite doesn't touch inside all of the grooves of the paper. That's why the shading never tends to be smooth for you. Okay, so you can see here that I plopped some small scribbled shapes down and then formed an arachnid creature. Because guess what, everybody? That's what we're going to be focusing on. If you've never drawn an arachnid creature, that's okay. You can go along with me and you can find out how I build these from scratch. So I'm going to number this. It's a good habit to get into, numbering your sketches. Oh, by the way, why do we number them? One, order. You got to learn how to order your sketches in a way that they are easily identifiable later. I'm always thinking about somebody else needing to pinpoint what they like so they can contribute to a game studio, a client, a movie visual effects studio, or sometime that you need to go back and say, hey, I really like number 17. I'm going to go with it. Instead of saying, I really like the third one down, sixth one over next to that one weird one. It's like, no. Don't put yourself through that. But anyway, okay, you can see here that there are very light lines that I am overlapping. Do I have a bug or creature in mind as I'm drawing these lines? The answer is no. Do you have to become a master at anatomy in order to make the correct lines? No. Right there, you're overthinking it. All I'm doing is I'm putting down shapes. Some of them are rounded. Some of them kind of look like flower petals. I don't really know what this is going to end up like, and I'm kind of at the mercy of seeing where my hand takes me. The other thing is, when you're sketching these thumbnails, you have total permission to fail. It's okay. You do not have to be perfect towards these. Now, the other thing I want to point out, how do you know where to get dark and how do you know where to stay light in your sketch? Well, there are a couple really cool little tricks. One, think about crevices in the sketch that you see that light may not be getting into. Now, this weird looking bone that came out of this opening, that wasn't there before. But when I scribbled the shapes on there when it was light, it opened up the doorway for that hole to even exist. I just looked at it and go, oh, there's the outline of a hole. I'm going to put it in there. All right, so now I'm just going to put some weird shapes on the end of that, I guess you can call it apparatus, and let's see what happens. There we go. Okay, next thing I'm going to do, ooh, that looks like a really giant, like a fly almost, or yeah, it kind of does look like a fly head. I didn't even mean to do that, but it's happening, folks. I'm going to put another rounded shape under here. That particular decision that I just made to put the rounded shape under there, it's because I wanted to. That's all. I'm not referencing any animals from nature, nothing. I'm just putting rounded shapes right here just to see what's going to happen. And I'm putting little dark marks in there because I want to give the illusion that there is cast shadow without me obsessing about shading. Okay, so if you're an inker, like a comic inker or whatever, and you enjoy doing really cool looking marker sketches and the shadows are very harsh, inking is so much fun, and you can really get into these crevices to make cast shadows look really cool. Like inside this opening right there, I can put almost black. Just push really hard on the pen, and there we go. We have something in there. Okay. Boy, this thing's kind of wild already because it reminds me of a small rodent or a small pet that you might have in your house if you wanted alien arachnid creatures in your house. Okay, there we go. I still don't know what that apparatus is going to be, so maybe... Oh man. This is looking kind of cool. Now, the huge appendages hanging off of the front of that face, you do not have to know exact insect anatomy in order to make every single part perfect. All right? Just think about articulation of an insect joint and a body. Okay, the bodies have to be segmented. Matter of fact, I just made a video about that last week, about how you need to think about the segmenting of a body, whether it's a thorax, whether it's the abdomen, even the legs. I mean, you got the tibia, the coxa, the different parts of an insect leg, whether it's beetle, whether it's larva, doesn't matter. They all have to articulate. Okay, this is actually kind of gross. But who doesn't want to draw gross insects, right? There we go. Now, what are these lines that are coming across here? I'm just having fun. I'm just having fun thinking about different segments. It kind of almost looks like an eyeball, like an eyelid slightly closing because the insect is tired or angry. And the cool thing about insects, and well, yes, insects are cool, but thumbnails like this is that the interpretation is left open for anybody looking at it. That right there could be finished. Okay, and then I would just move on to the next one. Okay, so there's number 2. So let's move on to the next one. This is how you build these pages for thumbnails. If you're drawing along right now and you're getting frustrated already, maybe you're going, why is it that I just can't see anything? Why is it that I'm constantly overthinking this and I don't see the shapes that he's seeing or another creature designer seeing? Well, one, you're getting inside your own head. Okay, every mark that I put down, I'm letting my hand move without thinking too hard about where that line is going. Just put the line down. That's all it is. The thing that matters in this process is motion. It's not getting form down to the point where it has to be identifiable. That's the thing. So think about all the insects or the creatures in your head that you could, see on a daily basis. We see beetles, we see cockroaches, we see insects flying around, praying mantis, butterfly, all of that stuff. And the cool thing is, it's in your brain. All of this is in your brain. If you were to think of a horse right now, you could think of a horse in your head, although you can't draw exactly what the body parts are, but you know the shape of a horse. Same thing happens with insects. So the cool thing is that maybe you don't know the perfect anatomy for a bug, like a beetle or a mantis or something, but you can kind of put it on there. That's great. It's all about forward momentum, everybody. See all these scribble shapes right here? This is one ugly bug. I don't even know what it is, but I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Okay, so let's say you have some scribbles and some lines going in different directions, and you feel like you're not creative enough to know which ones are going to be body parts or not. All right, that you're not alone. I'm going to show you some easy methods. And also to piggyback on that, let's say that you're not even an artist. You just happen to stumble across this video and you're going to give it a try. Well, here we go. So whenever you start to overlap these lines, you look at the ones where they're more prominent, like the lines that are slightly darker. This is a fun way and an easy way to just make shapes pop out without you intentionally making those shapes pop out. Because I can just go into this area right up here, this blank area, and I can just start pushing harder in some areas and releasing pressure. Okay, that was totally at random. But there are little lines in there where they're darker. Fine. Now let's have some fun with it, and let's start putting some shading just under those darker lines. And then, lo and behold, we have some cool exoskeleton shapes that you normally wouldn't think of. Normally, as in all of you listening right now, and maybe you're trying not to draw the same shapes that you always do in your sketch pad. Okay, you don't have to become, like a entomologist. You don't have to be a paleontologist to know all of this stuff. Just think about all the lines that you're placing, okay, and then let's see which ones are darker. Now it looks like what was going to be a beetle turned out to be almost like a larva shape, like a caterpillar mixed with a hellgrammite or some kind of, even a shrimp, like a shrimp tail. There's weird stuff. You see how I'm just floating across this, these scribbles, and I'm not really thinking about body parts. I do have some bulbous shapes that are sectioned off, but that's it. Because it's an insect, it has to articulate at some point. Okay, what do we do with all of that? Well, we're not really done with it yet. You see how over here I put some darker lines, darker shading underneath those big pincers, and I put some darker lines under here where we can see the underbelly of this bug. We're going to do the same thing over here, but we're going to make it more on just the belly part because the legs are super skinny. So let's just put some little sections that we can put some black in. Okay, and then we're going to leave it. So right there, it gives the illusion that there's going to be some shadow. Now, let's say that you feel absolutely terrible at drawing insect legs. They're not easy, right? You got beetles, you got flies, you got wasps, all kinds of different things that you can think of. Start scribbling some shapes down and making each line go different directions. Okay? Now, it's going to look a little wonky, it's going to look a little mismatched and broken. That's fine. Wherever they're darker, we can start putting in some fun lighter shapes in with it. And this is without knowing exactly what those joints are going to look like. Because remember, at the thumbnail stage, there is no failing, because this is the most raw you can get in any design phase. This is pre-visualization, or Pre Viz for short. That means that if you were talking to a client right now and nobody has done any work or artwork for the project at all, you are literally the first person. It's Pre Viz. So they're going to take and they're going to see what they like that you've done, maybe what they don't like, and then they're going to ask other artists to bounce ideas off of it, and it's going to go down the pipeline. Okay, so right here I'm just kind of having fun and putting some really, actually kind of sinister looking quills almost on the back of this thing. It's pretty gross. Okay, and hey, I might have some more fun here and put some sharp shapes. It's kind of like a praying mantis with the limbs in the front. Now, once you start overlapping a ton of these lines, you're going to kind of get lost in the sauce right there. So you need to start darkening up where those limbs are going to be. And I've already shown you how to do that. You just pick the darker lines that show up, and then you can slowly but surely start to build up those legs. So right here I'm just shading with a pen, keeping my pen tilted to the side, not worrying too much about every single little segment and detail. And guess what, folks? That's number 3 already. There we go. Okay, well, let's move on. Let's go over here to the end, and we're going to keep going. This is so much fun, right? If you're frustrated and you feel like throwing your sketchbook across the table and you want to quit drawing forever, please do not do that. You're not going to solve your problem. Instead, if you feel like you're not creative, you suck at drawing, and you're just not meant to do it in life, well, I hate to break it to you, but whether you think you can or you can't, you are right. Something that Henry Ford said a long, long time ago. And whether or not you believe in that, that's up to you. But if you just scribble and you just put in the mileage, then slowly but surely you're going to start to build up your skills over time. This is not an overnight thing. You know, we live in the microwave generation where we want to see results instantly, and this is something that I have said over and over again. And I'm going to keep saying it. Okay, so it kind of looks like an ant. Let's see what happens here. Or a cicada. I'm going to put the eyes on the side right here. And these are, I mean, yeah, I guess they could be friendly insects, but I don't know. Philip right there does not look happy. It just looks like an angry house insect hybrid creature, and I don't know what to say about that other than that. We're going to do a cool looking mouth. So we're going to do something that's almost like a Dobson fly. If you guys know what Dobson flies are, so they start off as Helgramites, and then they have these very, very sinister looking twisting pincers in the front. They're just not friendly looking insects at all. But check out the Dobson fly, just Google search that. It's pretty cool. We're going to put that there, and then just to add a little bit of beauty to it, I'm going to darken up the pincers and make them look extra deadly. There we go. I get asked often, why don't I draw cute things? Why do I keep drawing evil things? And, well, evil's just a word. We invented it. I like drawing fun things. And if it looks mean, if it looks evil, then that's fun for me. Okay, so this bug is in a front 3/4 stance. So it's going to be coming at us, and we can see some of the side, some of the top, some of the front. Looks like the abdomen's pretty big, so I don't even think we're going to get to the full body right here. Maybe we shouldn't, right? Maybe it's a slug. I don't even know what's happening now. Okay, so it looks like a bunch of sections of fat are all over this bug / slug. Okay, maybe it burrows. Or maybe there's an extra set of pincers on the bottom in case the top two... Oh man, look at that. What would you guys name this one? I haven't asked that in the past couple videos, but I love asking viewers, hey, what would you name these creatures that I'm inventing? Some of you come up with some really awesome things, and from what I've seen, I think the funnest ones are the ones where they're everyday names. Like if I named this one Charles, okay, or just make up a name. Okay, there we go. Are you guys having fun yet? I hope you are. If you're frustrated, guess what? That's a good thing, because that means your brain is taking in new bits of information and it hasn't learned the task yet, which means you actually have room to grow. Even though it's terrible to go through right now, you may feel lost, you may feel frustrated, you may feel like you just don't have a creative bone in your body. If you feel that way, take a deep breath, drink some water, go stand up, go outside, enjoy the air, come back with a fresh take on this. A lot of times I like to put movies on where it matches the genre of the creature I'm designing. And it's just so much fun that way. If it's sci-fi, you put on a sci-fi movie. If it's cosmic horror, well, put on something like The Void, Event Horizon, something. Speaking of Event Horizon, it's one of my top 10 movies. I love that movie. I was lucky enough to see it in the theater before they ended a run, because it didn't make a lot of money, but it has slowly become a cult classic over the past 30 years. Hard to believe it's been 30 years since, well, it will be in 2027. Okay, so this was, I mean, kind of overlapping this creature right here, but I don't care. I'm just going to leave it. And maybe, hey, maybe, you know, I don't have to be done with this one yet. Maybe the tail in the back is kind of whipping around this way. It's just one giant evil-looking Dobson fly worm. And there's like a bunch of different feelers and crazy, creepy, crawly appendages on the sides. That'd be kind of fun. Well, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think the head does it justice, but that's for me to figure out later in the design phase if I decide to go with this design further. I probably won't, but it'll be here, just in case. Guess what? We're going to move on. This is number 4. Okay, we got our first row. We're going to move it, and then we're going to start on number 5. Okay, put number 5 down first. Now, let's go over again how we start this process. Loosen your grip. Okay, take your pencil or your pen. Don't grip your pencil so hard that you're forced to focus on tiny little bits of information. You don't want to do that. Instead, let's think about the large silhouette. All right, so start to put down some very light lines. This is like the top of a helmet. That's all I'm doing. Just the top of a helmet. I want everybody to do this right now. Draw the top of a helmet. All right, congratulations. You have just sketched the top of a beetle or some kind of creature. Next, I want you to start clustering together some lines over here on the right. Now, these will not mean anything at first until I'm going to tell you what they mean here in a second. So it's going to look like a hairball. It's going to look like somebody bit into a piece of chocolate and there's like chunks of it everywhere. Whatever. It's like you're drawing food. Leave it. Okay? Third step, I want you to draw some lines that could be wavy underneath everything that you just drew. Wavy lines could be 1, 2, just like 2 waves. Okay? Next step, I want you to draw a large oval, very light, on the side. Notice how I didn't say circle, I said oval, because this is going to be a circle in perspective. Okay, I'm teaching you how to sketch a creature in front 3/4 view in your thumbnailing. Okay, the next one, you're going to do an oval next to it, but it's going to be slightly skinnier and smaller. And you're going to do it again next to that one. See how I'm differentiating the height? Like here, the big oval is up front. This one's down a little bit. This one's back up. And then maybe the one I can put bigger again, but towards the back and skinnier. Now this one is open more because it's coming towards us in perspective. This one is going to be flattened and opening up over to our left. Okay, so we started with the helmet. The next stage, we clustered together some crazy looking lines, very light, in the front. Third thing we did is we gave the bottom a shape. Very simple wavy shape. And then the next steps after that, we put 4 holes on the side. Congratulations, you're about 75% there from designing an insect creature. Now, let's look inside this area. This is huge. Let's think about the bug that you actually want to design. Do you want it to be aggressive? Do you want it to be cute and cuddly? Do you want it to be kind of almost blind? You can't really even tell that it has a head. Fine. If that's the case, then look at the shapes inside this cluster and ask yourself, which ones can I pull forward to aid my design? Now, I'm going to make a bug that can be considered like an NPC in a video game. So those of you who aren't familiar with NPC, it's non-playable character. Those are kind of the filler characters and creatures that are in the background and in the environments of a game, where you can interact with them sometimes, or they're just kind of there to fill space. All right, so I see a rounded shape right in here. I'm going to round that off and I'm going to stop. All right, so now that we have at least the shape for that eyeball in here, we can start to pinpoint which areas of this face, because to me the right side is going to be the face. This is why we built this structure the way we have it. So the eyeball is going to be here. If I can see just a little bit of an outline for maybe a pincer, I'll do it. If you are not familiar with the anatomy of a pincer, then go on Google and type in bug pincers. And whichever ones that look intriguing to you, you can try to mimic that, study those, do independent studies of them. So small little doodles of different bug heads and eyes and pincers, and whichever one you feel could fit your bug's design, your creature's design, you can follow that one. But what we're doing here is we're looking at the lines that are actually showing up, and we're going to outline these, and there we have it. So this is more of an NPC, like I was saying, and it's not going to be a deadly creature, more like just a little walking tank, I guess you can call it. Next, it needs a cranium. It needs some kind of head. So we're just going to give it a head. We're just going to round this off, give it a head. And if you're not confident about your anatomy so far when it comes to making a bug head, that's okay. All right, they're complicated shapes. Bugs are complicated. Go on Google, go on Pinterest, Tumblr, Bing, whatever you want to use, even your own backyard if you want to go out there and look at bugs. Try to draw the different shapes that you see for the head, and sometimes you can combine stuff, and other times you're just going to make things up. And that's the part that we have to embrace as a creature designer. So I'm pretty confident about that eyeball, and I'm actually thinking about putting in another one right here above it. So it's almost taking the form of a jumping spider, like in the face, but I don't necessarily want to do that quite yet. I'm not jumping to conclusions yet. All right, so now I'm just putting in where the creature's mouth would be, small little dark lines without perfectly knowing where teeth would be or any kind of antenna. I'm just indicating where it could be. And I'm just going to start adding in some interesting shapes to the pincer in the front, and then on the side right here to the other pincer. There we go, right like that. So now we can start to see this bug taking shape. This is why I love using ballpoint pens so much, because all of the lighter gestural lines that are happening around it, you can immediately press darker with ink and it will show up, so it won't bleed in with it. We just got to indicate where the eyeball is on the other side of the head here to add some like 3D realism. Now for the eyeball, I'm going to play with this just a little bit more. I'm going to slowly build up some values until I get to a speck highlight in the middle of the eyeball. So I'm going to shade around the center and I'm going to close in on it. And once I close in on it, I'm going to leave that part white. So it's going to be the white of the paper. And if I want it to be a little darker around it, I'm going to do that. But I can't go too far in the middle, or else it's going to lose that shine, and then I'll have to go to like gouache markers or something to add that highlight in there. I'm at the mercy of drawing on paper. Okay, so there is no gimmicky tricks you can do. You can't grab an eraser and erase the center of that, not with the ink. Okay, so once I have that, I'm going to go back to these armholes, and I'm just going to put a slight indication of a line. Like I'm going to cut these in half, but it's going to be in between the ovals. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up the shape. So roll up the shape as in this oval that I put here, and then the lines that are going to cut through them or on the side of them, I'm going to go to the end of those lines and kind of roll them up into it. Make them look like the shell is opening up. Because guess what, everybody? The arms are going to go in there. Okay, so for example, I can put the coxa right there, And then you start with the bug arms, okay, like the big suckers. You can have fun with this too. Maybe something big. I always think of Pokemon characters or something that you can do where they kind of exaggerate the different body parts, making them bulbous. Okay, there we go. You see how I'm not freaking out over anything. I'm just placing in lines, not obsessing about the shapes being perfect. I don't want to do that. Instead, I'm just giving a slight indication of what the bug could look like. Right there. All right, so look down at your own drawings and ask yourself, what kind of shell could my creature have? You know, is it a spiky shell? With this one, I kind of do imagine some weird organic spiky shapes on that shell going in the back. And then maybe, see that little oval in the back here? I kind of forgot that leg, so maybe that leg will just be ghosted in the back. And when I say ghosted, I mean just pressing very light. I'm drawing over the other legs because it doesn't matter. And each new leg that I bring forth towards the front gets a little darker on the edges. So that way, dark, lighter, lighter than that, very light in the background. And I just did that depth by drawing over top of each other and then getting a little bit darker with each leg that's closest to us. Okay, that's depth. All right, there we go. So I'm going to put in some shadow in that little crack, just that little separation of top and bottom shell. It's a very simple shell. Okay, putting in some cool little bumps on that. It kind of looks like a lobster leg almost, just in the front here. This bug could very well be aquatic. I'm not sure. But we'll see. We're having a lot of fun here. I'm having a blast. I love drawing this kind of stuff. Just love drawing creatures, and I hope that you guys are enjoying this process too. Even those of you that are complete and utter noobs and beginners at this, you are now better than you were when you first started. So, you know, and I want to welcome all of you to my channel too. All of you are welcome. And please come back to it from time to time. Bookmark this video, come back to it, show it to your class if you're a teacher, if you're an aspiring concept artist and you just can't seem to, you know, learn the ropes when it comes to concept art. You can't go wrong with thumbnailing. It's a lost art too. Either people are too lazy to do it, they don't even know to do it, or they just don't include it in their portfolios because they don't think it's important. It is vital. All right, so I'm just going to overlap some of these lines here, and I'm kind of wisping the lines across because, you know, shading with a pen is a lot different. And one thing I want to mention, if you want to have me dive way deeper into my creative process with creature design, anatomy, studying, reference gathering, you can join my Patreon. So check the link in the description below for that. I have 3 tiers. Tier 3 as in, you know, the most important one, and that's the live streaming that I'll do monthly, where I just go in depth about my creature design process. So if you want to learn tips and tricks, if you want assignments, say you don't feel like you have direction, I give assignments. Okay, and then we also have a creature design workshop Discord, and you can post them on there. So it's a lot of fun. It's a huge community too. A lot of like-minded individuals, so I think you're going to benefit. All right, so now what I'm doing, you see how quickly I built that bug up? That's what I want all of you to do right now. Take a step back and ask yourself, are you happy with the direction that your creature's in? If you're not happy, you're allowed to not be happy about that. But just know that this is not the final stage. Okay, this is the thumbnail stage. This is the dirty, gritty, messy stage where nothing is as it seems. This stuff will change. Okay, just putting in some details with the pen. Just indicating where some legs could be on the other side of the body to give it some depth. And if I want to shade in some of the body parts without going too much into detail, I'd like to put in some hatching in one direction. Do that with the other legs poking out. I want to make sure that the separation of the shell and the neck and the head and everything, there's plenty of shadow in there so that it does have depth, but it creates a sense of realism too. Okay, I can mess with this head for ages. All right, so really, folks, if you just want to add in a little bit of darker lines right here to give an outline of the body parts, go right ahead. You can call this one done. You don't have to do any more than that. We've done 5 thumbnails together. See, isn't this a lot of fun? We have 5 thumbnails together, and these go very quickly. Okay, so you can keep going with this, and who knows what you can come up with on this one. All right, you can spend hours drawing. I recommend you guys at least knock out 1 hour a day to drawing. If you want to be a creature designer, it's going to take minimum of that. You should be studying anatomy every single day. Your favorite animals, your least favorite animals. We have to understand all aspects of nature if we want to break the rules in creature design. All right, so I want to thank all of you for joining me today in this little lesson, this little classroom lesson. Comment below if you're an aspiring creature designer. If you're an aspiring concept artist, I'd love to hear your journey so far and what it's been like. Are you frustrated? Have you gotten your first job? Got your first client? Did you make your first paycheck? You know, like, I know how important that is too. You feel validated once you're paid for your work, right? So look at that. I've just decided to draw like a bird, like a really weird, kind of an evil duck. So just comment below. Let me know what you guys are working on, what you're struggling with. And again, check the links in the description for my Patreon. I'd love to have you there, as well as our Discord. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Get sketching in your sketchbooks. No excuses. Number all of them. And one thing I can guarantee, sketch number 1 will look way different than the last one that you did. So make sure that you continue that journey. Thanks again for tuning in and watching me. Till next time, later.